So this is it, the season finale to Delisted Season 1. So far we've hunted down and rediscovered all kinds of different games. But as we reach this finale episode, I wanted to do something special. So in this episode, compared to the normal story we tell about games getting delisted, this game's story is very different. Instead of being lost to time, this game got a second lease on life after its official delisting. So what game am I talking about? Need for Speed World. Need for Speed World, originally known as Need for Speed World Online, was the 15th installment in the Need for Speed franchise. And so far, this is the only game in the franchise that falls into the open world/MMO category. NFS World was published by Electronic Arts and co-developed by EA Black Box. It was the first freemium online multiplayer racing game in the Need for Speed series, and was a PC exclusive release on July 27th, 2010. NFS World was a small part of a wave of free-to-play online multiplayer games that were released by EA. Titles like Battlefield Heroes, Battlefield Play for Free, and FIFA World are just a handful of those titles. World would take elements from the 2005 game Need for Speed Most Wanted and the 2006 game of Need for Speed Carbon. The map itself was a combination of Rockport and Palmont cities from the Carbon and Most Wanted games, but with redesigned HD graphics to help bring it into the modern era. The game would feature over 100 licensed cars, with even more being added later on as DLC and extra content. There was even a car that cost $100. No, I'm serious. 100 real dollars. 100 American dollars. No, I'm actually serious. I take EA greed very seriously. Every car in NFS World had tons of customization and upgrade options. With performance parts to help increase speed, every car also had a unique set of skill mods you could add, with mods like increasing the car's impact force or increasing the prize from race earnings. Need for Speed World received mixed reviews from the critics, but received more positive feedback from the players. Surpassing 1 million users in September of 2010, and by November of 2012, World had surpassed 20 million registered users. As a free-to-play title, a wide compatibility list, and an ever-growing player base, Need for Speed World seemed to be soaring to new heights not seen by any other Need for Speed game in history. But unfortunately, this game's demise was closer than anyone imagined. On April 15th, 2015, EA announced that July 14th would be the final day of Need for Speed World's operations, as the servers would be shut down and services for the game would be sunset completely. EA would make this statement, as they felt, and I quote, that the game no longer lives up to the high standards set by the Need for Speed franchise. This video shows the final minutes of Need for Speed World, moments before the servers would be shut down and disconnected. For most online-only games, this is how the story ends. All your time your effort, and everything that you poured into this game, gone. Locked behind an error code, never to be seen again. But Need for Speed World isn't like most other games, and the millions of users still active at the time of the shutdown weren't done playing yet. It would be the players that were going to decide when they were done playing Need for Speed World. Not long after the shutdown, a preservation effort by the fans was started, with the end goal to make Need for Speed World playable once again. And in 2017, 2 years after Electronic Arts shut down the game, a network of private servers under the title Soapbox Race World were released. Not only was Need for Speed World back up and running, but the game would now feature tons of new cars, tracks, events, and mods, literally helping bring World back from the dead. Since there's no actual hunt for this game thanks to the preservation effort, I'm instead going to shift gears and head straight to the installation tutorial so you all can play this game yourself. Okay, so let's get down to how to install and play Need for Speed World in the modern day and age after its official delisting. So, the first thing you want to do is head on to this website, Soapbox Race World. The link for the website is in the description. You can open a new tab right now and follow along with these steps as I go through them. Now, this isn't super complicated, but there are quite a few steps to follow. So, obviously, first one, to the website, you'll hit the big download button. You'll scroll down towards the bottom of the page. You'll see 4 options. Download the very, very top option of those 4. Obviously, at the time of recording this is version 2.2.2. By the time you see this, another version may have come out, but that zip file is the one you want to download. Now, you can go ahead and extract the zip folder, but do not do anything inside that folder just yet, because for some reason, this game will not run through the program files section on Windows. You will need to create your own folder to put this game in. Me personally, I created a folder and put that on an external hard drive. That way all the game files and everything are off-site, and I don't really have to deal with it. It just plugs into any PC and it will run. So once you created a folder, you can drag that extracted zip folder now onto it, and now you can go hit that exe and boot up the launcher. There will be a bit of a download process. This is all dependent on your internet speed, how long this takes. It could be real quick, could be forever. But there is a mandatory download process when you first boot up the launcher. Now, once the launcher has booted up, you'll be able to pick your game server, and you'll be able to create and register an account. Now, registering your account, that's pretty easy. Email, password, all that fun stuff. Now, there are several game server options. A lot of people, including myself, choose the Night Riders option. This version of the game behaves a lot like Need for Speed World originally did. No extra content, no added mods or anything like that. It's exactly how Need for Speed World was back in the day. But if that's not your fancy, there's plenty of other options where they add all kinds of new cars, new mods, all kinds of stuff. There's tons of other versions of the game out there. If whatever suits your fancy, it's usually available. For me personally, we're picking the Night Riders option. Now, once you pick your game server, you will initiate another download section. This is where all the game files will be downloaded. Again, this should all go to where you place that folder, which for me was on the external hard drive, so no issues there. Now, unfortunately, the game is still online only. It's still that very core mechanic of the game. It has to be connected to a server of some sort. There are some bots you can race if there aren't enough people within the server playing online. There's some AI bots you could race and stuff, but internet connection is still required. Now, once those game files are downloaded, it's pretty much a walk in the park. It is a new game, so you'll be starting from square one. You'll be starting from scratch. You can create your own username, profile picture, all of that. But that is it. You are ready and set to play Need for Speed World once again. Again, it's not super complicated. There's just a lot of steps and hoops you have to jump through, as with any game that's been delisted and taken off its main server. But that's it. You are now playing Need for Speed World once again, which means now I'm going to kick it over to the next segment for some final thoughts on Season 1 of Delisted. We get to the end of this video here, I want to get a little serious and kind of bring us all back down to earth a little bit. Because when I started this project way back in 2021, my original idea was pretty simple. Talk about a game that had been removed from a store for our digital, storefront, and document my journey to locate it again, and then show you all, the viewers, how you can play it again too. But it was in that 3-year time span where it became abundantly clear how important it was to get this series finished and get it pushed out and get it on YouTube. And what sent me over the edge and what really pushed me to finish this was what happened to the crew. It was removed from all the digital storefronts, and the servers that were required to start the game got taken down. And even though all kinds of people had physical versions, they had physical discs of that game, whether for PS4 or PC, that was a physical media on a disc, and it was a paperweight. It was useless because Ubisoft said, "We're done. You don't get to play this game anymore, and we're done." And it's scary. It's a scary realization to see what the future might be for gaming, where everything is digital and everything requires an internet connection just to boot up. And it's this seemingly dystopian future where you own nothing and you're happy about it. And obviously, I hope we never get that far, but it's scary. It's really scary. Smokey the Bear says only you can prevent forest fires, and as cliche as it sounds, only you can preserve games. If we all work together, we can enjoy our favorite games long into the future, whether that's through emulation or a game server, or heck, even modifying the game files themselves and making bypasses around certain blocks. We as a community cannot sit idly by. I can't sit here on my hands and say, oh, someone else will do that. Somebody else will save that game for me. Somebody else will preserve it. I don't have to do that. Right now, I've got a Hot Wheels ID on my phone. It got delisted right at the end of 2023, and I could uninstall it. It's taking up almost a gigabyte of space on my phone. I could uninstall it. I could say, let somebody else deal with it. But no, I'm going to keep those files on this phone. I'm going to take them off and move them onto a USB stick or a disk drive. I'm going to keep those files in case we get somewhere, in case we make a breakthrough and we can bring this game back. I'm going to do my part. I'm not a genius, but I'm going to do my part to make sure we at least keep what we can of digital media, because it's so difficult to do when you don't have it, when you don't have the physical media. This is as physical as this game is going to get. I have to do everything I can to preserve it, and you do too. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much for a game to just kind of slip through the cracks. And before you know it, somebody's talking about it on a Reddit forum 5 years later, like, hey, remember that game? Man, that was fun. And as I move to production of season 2 for Delisted, I hope I can be that guy. I hope I can be the guy who says, here's the link. Here you go. Here's the game file again, and here's a video on how to play it again. Here's all the hoops you have to jump through. Here's all the steps you have to take. Because I see those comments. I see those posts. Somebody has to do something. Somebody has to be there. Somebody has to step in. And I hope I can at least do something that keeps these games around a little while longer. So that's it. That's the end of Delisted Season 1. If you enjoyed these videos, I'd really appreciate if you give them all a like and share them around. Let's spread the videos out. Let's get them into other circles of the internet. And if you know someone who would benefit from these videos or would benefit from knowing about how to get a specific game back, I'd really appreciate it if you just share the video. Get it out there. Let's get it out to all corners of the internet. And let's keep preserving games. And of course, if you want to see more content like this and you want to be notified of when I begin Season 2 of Delisted, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I upload next. And until next time, keep on gaming, everybody.